Joining us now, Fox News' senior political analyst, Brit Hume. So, Brit, when you hear the president, in his tone today, and in particular, Ed made reference to it, but I want to play you this soundbite of the president speaking to this two-thirds of the electorate who didn't vote issue. I want to get your thoughts on what he was trying to say. Listen.
To the two-thirds of voters who chose not to participate in the process yesterday, I hear you too. Part of what I also think we've got to look at is the two-thirds of people who were eligible to vote and just didn't vote.
Brit?
Well, Megan, that's arguably true. I think if you looked at the numbers of registered voters, it would probably be a larger number actually voted. I think more than anything, he was trying to call attention to the fact that less than half the electorate participated, and thereby to belittle these results as not all that meaningful or important, and to take it a step further, not all that related to him. At least that's how it struck me when I heard him say it. The
implication seems to be that the two-thirds are in his quarter. Is there any indication of that?
Well, either that or he has, with all his other wondrous qualities, he has this magical ability to hear people who haven't said anything, which would be quite something if you're able to do that. Well, maybe he's simply saying that we need to do a better job here because so many people are so turned off, such a huge percentage of the public is so turned off, they didn't even vote. Now, if that's what he meant, well, he's got a point.
But what he said, he went on to say, the American people sent a message, one they've sent for several elections now. They want us to get the job done. Is that the message?
Well, that's always the message, if you think about it. The public always wants whatever government it installs in power and whatever party it installs in power to get the job done. That's kind of that doesn't really say anything. If he's suggesting that that the job hasn't been getting done, then presumably he means that he and his team and his party play a major role in that. They've, after all, had two legs of the three-legged stool that has to do with legislation. They've had the Senate and the White House. The Republicans for the last several years have controlled the House of Representatives. So, if that's what he meant, that's kind of a peculiar thing to say when you think about it.
What do you make of the chances of an actual outreach, by the White House to the now Republican-controlled Senate? Because when the president was asked about it today, he said, surely we can find ways to work together on issues. And he says, so I look forward to Republicans putting forward their governing agenda. I will offer my ideas on areas where I think we can move together. When I read that, it reminded me of when I was practicing law. It sounds like a lawyer trying to reach a settlement in a litigation. You never want to make your offer first. You try to get the other side to say what they want, and then you react. And the question is whether he's in the right role here or whether he's supposed to be leading.
Well, I don't think we're at the negotiation stage really yet. That will come when specific measures are before the Congress and the president is deciding what role he wants to play in trying to shape the legislation, or what position he will take on them, or how he will react if the legislation passes and reaches his desk. It seems to me that's how that more or less works. But there's an old saying, the president proposes and Congress disposes. The president today seemed to suggest that it would work the other way this time, that now that the Republicans have gotten control of the House, it's up to them to come to him with their ideas, and then he will make a pronouncement or a decision about whether he finds them appealing or not. At one point he said something, and this is nowhere near the exact words, which sounded very much like, if the Republicans have some ideas that I like, I'll entertain them. Well, that doesn't sound like somebody who's been at all chastened by an election in which his party suffered a major across-the-board defeat, not only including in the House where they expanded their majority, the loss of the Senate to the Republicans, but also a turn of events in the governor's chairs that nobody really quite saw coming. It looked like the Republicans were going to lose governorships this year. So it was really quite a terrible night for his party, and it certainly reflects on him whether he likes to think that or not.
Well, he said it was a good night, notwithstanding the reports from the New York Times.
He said it was a good night for the Republicans, yeah. Well,
but notwithstanding the reports from the New York Times that he was irritated, which who could blame him? Yet we didn't really get the, the gerund of it's a thumping or it's a shellacking this time.
Yeah, well, irritation seems to be about as upset as he gets. He gets irritated.
Well,
sometimes maybe I've heard he's even been annoyed.
I wish I were more like that. Brit, good to see you.